of organizations. Because when you put your ego over business, you already losing the business money as far as I'm concerned. And that's what the problem. WWE do everything out of petty. Look what they did to Sting. We were just talking about this right before y'all got on here. You had Sting in your company at a very extended age. His first match in the company, you put him against Triple H in a loss for some war that's 14 years old. You got to be out of your damn mind.
And I agree. And I
agree.
agree because you heard me say it before. They really dropped the ball. It should have been Sting versus Undertaker in that WrestleMania. That way it would have been momentum because that's more of a draw. And I will agree with you on that. It's stupid how you had to bring in like the NWO and the DX mix and all that other BS. But yeah, I mean it should have been. They really dropped the ball. I mean, there's numerous of times where they had they had opportunities to have blockbuster matches, but they dropped the ball because Vince didn't see it that way, or the creator was like, "Well, we don't know how to write that story to make it work."
Right. Look what they do stuff like. Look at they waste Samoa Joe. Let's take NXT in general since we talking about NXT. Why was Samoa Joe in NXT? Why is Taya Valkyrie in NXT? Why is Killer Cross in NXT? These are people that spent their lives perfecting their craft on the independent circuit, and you got them going straight to NXT for what reason? So you can undevelop them and make them worse? Is that why you got them? Because you're not developing. Everybody that leaves WWE that go through that system leaves complaining, saying I didn't learn anything. So that means your developmental system is malfunctioning, and you're terrible as a booker. Ever since Dusty Rhodes died in 2015, every single person that's come out of NXT has been a terrible promo. Look what he did to Enzo Amore, who Ted, if you don't know, he's a fellow New Yorker, small cruiserweight dude. He was one of the highest merch sellers.
Enzo, yes.
Yeah, you know Enzo.
Yeah.
He was one of the highest merch sellers in 2016, 2017. They fired this guy over allegations that came out later that was wrong. He still ain't came back to this day. He's a free agent floating it. Don't nobody want to hire him. That shows you how insane these wrestling companies are right now. That they wouldn't take a guy like that was a high merchandise seller and put him on TV with titles. But we're going to bring JoJo in real quick. JoJo, did you watch In Your House tonight?
First off, what's up, y'all?
What's
going on?
Chilling. I did get to watch it. I missed the first match though.
You didn't miss anything.
I thought it was gonna go with the singles match, and then all the title matches after.
Yeah.
But they did the all or nothing match.
Yeah. The tag team
titles,
North American on the line,
Yeah, so I didn't get to watch that. I missed that one entirely.
You didn't miss it. Trust me, you did.
Damn. I did watch Xia Li versus Mercedes Martinez. That was all right match. Hard hitting ladies. Yeah. Xia got the win. Xia got the win.
Yeah.
Was it Mercedes did her thing, then that weird leader, whoever she is, tossed the Mercedes and whatnot, and then they walked off, whatever. But other than that, it was a hard hitting match. I like that match.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was
what happened?
No, I said it was great. I agree with you. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah. Then they had the $1 billion title match?
The ladder match, yeah.
The ladder match, yeah. Match was okay. I'm glad with the winner of the match. That's how it should have been.
Who won?
So yeah, LA Knight won. So
okay,
props to him. That's what I was happy. That's what I wanted to. Because if Cameron would have won after all this stuff, I would have been like, come on, man. So LA Knight won. Good thing. What else happened? The women's match, the NXT Women's Title match.
Raquel and
and Ember Moon.
Yeah,
that had its good spots. Couple good spots. Couple things kind of look like the pace was kind of weird because at one moment it looked like it was moving fast. Then it like really slowed for a while. Then it picked up again. I wish it would have been, huh?
They was trying to push the card to 9:30. That's what they was trying.
So, Raquel won. I did like that DDT spot. that tornado DDT spot. That was fire
on the ramp.
Yeah. But yeah, match was all right. It was a good match. The NXT 5-man title match though. It hit, then it missed, then it hit for me. Because it felt like it was good, and then it just dragged on too long.
Yeah,
for a minute. It was like full of empty space for like a good minute.
Yeah.
And I was like, come on, man.
You know what the problem is, JoJo? Cross didn't know how to wrestle a lot of those dudes. Like he's used to choking somebody out in like 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like when you put him in matches where it's a bunch of spots with dudes jumping off the rope. Like I don't know who told Adam Cole that the Panama Sunrise is a good spot, but it looks stupid. Please stop doing it. Jason even said it best. Jason, remember you said how when he jump off the top rope and land on his feet and take the momentum of the move out of the way?
Yeah.
Like, why would you do a spot? And first of all, let's say he wants to do that move as a finisher. Cool. I'm all with that's one of his signature moves.
Yeah.
The fact that you beat absolutely nobody with that move, why taking the risk, jumping off the top rope, blowing your ankle out to beat somebody do a move that somebody gonna kick out of? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that's kind of true. It's kind of true.
Like nobody should ever kick out of a propelling Canadian destroyer, which is essentially what it is. Like that's a Canadian destroyer, dude. Like the minute people started kicking out of that move, it was dead. That when I first saw that move, I marked out. When I saw Petey Williams do that in Impact, I was like, holy shit, he just do a flipping pile driver. Like
that was it.
Yeah, that was like groundbreaking.
Word, because he just pulled it out of nowhere. It was like nothing. He was standing, looked like a power bomb. Boom.
Yeah,
he was power driver.
Yeah, and now everybody and their mother just do it as a regular ass move. Like
because I think everybody felt the same way we felt when we seen it, and then they're like, "That's so cool, I should use it." And
Yo, let me tell you, AEW took that move and said, "Yo, let's just put it on everybody's regular moves list." And call it
they had the super kick.
Yeah,
they had the Rock and Roll Express do the Canadian Destroyer. You got 60-year-old men doing a Canadian Destroyer, bro.
Come on, man, it's insane.
Hey, it's man, give them props. That's yoga right there.
I'm fascinated by the athleticism of old guys doing it, but that shows you how ridiculous the move has got out of hand. That you got old dudes doing it. You know what I mean? Like
that's passion.
Exactly.
JoJo,
but wasn't it somebody that he would hurt you if you did his finisher? It was somebody that didn't like people doing his finisher.
It was a couple people like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think somebody off the top of my head. Muhammad Hassan. Just to give a funny story, Muhammad Hassan had the temerity to walk up to Eddie Guerrero and tell him he couldn't do the camel clutch. Do you know who created the camel clutch? I thought it was the Iron Sheik. Do you know who created it? Anybody?
Wasn't it like Sabu's
Wasn't
dad?
the Iron Sheik? Nah.
Wasn't it Sabu's dad?
I've always thought it was the Iron Sheik.
Me too. I'll give you a clue. They're not Arab. Nope. That's a good guess, though. Jason, who?
It was Eddie Guerrero's father.
Yep. Gory Guerrero created the camel clutch.
Okay.
And they I don't know who got in his head, but Muhammad Hassan walked up to Eddie Guerrero because Eddie Guerrero used to do the little half camel clutch thing from time to time. Which, I mean, he technically don't need it. The lasso of El Paso was a cool submission move that he did. But, like, granted, but still, as a respect thing, bro, you don't walk up to Eddie Guerrero for starters, Muhammad Hassan, when you just starting the business, and tell him not to do a move. And, like, that added on to people already not liking him backstage. Do you remember that spot at the Royal Rumble, JoJo, when they all picked him up? They all threw him out. Yeah. That was one of the reasons for him. That was part for him disrespect. Eddie Guerrero, if he wanted to, could have beat the crap out of him back there because he can't handle himself. But I'll tell you another story about I think it was Ernie Ladd. It was Ernie Ladd. I'm almost sure it was Ernie Ladd. Some wrestler no-sold his move, which is like normal now. Like, and I get on here and I get it. That's one of the things that upset me the most, JoJo, when people no-sell moves. So somebody no-sold, I think it was Ernie Ladd's move. It was either Ernie Ladd or Ron Simmons, a big black dude. And they waited for him to get out the ring, went back in the back, and walked up to the dude and said, if you ever no-sell my move again, I'll kill you, and slam and bashed his head against the brick wall. Like, that's how much dudes used to protect their moves back then. He smashed that dude head dead into the wall and said, don't you ever no-sell my move again. But some dude, I don't know if I would have went that extreme, but I would have put my hands on him. Because who do you help by doing some stuff like that?
For real.
You kick it out, JoJo. We have to tell Ted. I don't know if Ted saw this. Ted, AEW. It's a big, strong wrestler named Brian Cage. Do you know who Brian Cage is?
Brian Cage, yes.
He F5. He F5 Adam Page off the rope. You know that F5 is Brock Lesnar's move.
Yes.
He F5 this dude off the third rope, Ted, and the guy kicked out of the move.
Kicked out. Get out of here.
JoJo was so mad, bro.
Oh, man. I hate
get mad
things.
like that. JoJo, he was heated, bro.
I was so mad. Because I'm like, yo, that's a legit finishing move. And it's not just from some random wrestler. That's Brock Lesnar's move, man. Come on.
And then being off the top rope and with the impact and the body weight and all that, it's like, come on, man.
Exactly.
Okay, will do.
No doubt.
Oh my god. My god.
Can we talk about athleticism for a second, JoJo? Ember Moon. It looks great seeing Ember Moon back in the main event. She's one of the most amazing athletes I've ever seen in my life. Like,
and she
makes everything look so easy. She is from Dallas. Raquel's from Dallas too, and I didn't realize Texas.
No, she's from a small town. No, Raquel's like further down, like Brownsville.
But yeah, I'll always give Ember Moon that credit. Since I seen her in the Indies, she's always had that athleticism. You know what I mean?
And like the way she sells moves, looked like she was killed. The way she now, granted, sometimes because I saw she fell earlier and I winced because it looked like she fell too close to her neck. Like I know she wanted to make you look good, but Ember, please don't kill yourself. Like when she fought her and her, ironically, her partner who's currently injured, Shotzi Blackheart. The way they take spots, like they just devil may cry what they do. You have to think about your longevity as a wrestler down the line and not just do stuff just because you can do it. And so many wrestlers just do stuff just because they can. But that shows you the difference. And I want to get everybody's opinion on this. It shows you the difference between the training. Ember Moon was trained by Booker T. Now, look at a wrestler like, I'm trying to think who was trained by like somebody kind of marky. Let's take people like Johnny Gargano, who I need to double check who he was trained by, but I'm sure it was some mark that trained him. Let me double check. And look at him versus Ember Moon. And that shows you that Booker T trained Ember Moon properly to do stuff.
Man, they gave Johnny Gargano all the spots on this damn match. I was so bad. I did like Pete Dunne though. Pete Dunne was doing it for me in the match though. Pete Dunne was all right. Yeah, I was messing. I like Pete Dunne and Kyle O'Reilly had his moments up in there too. I like when Kyle O'Reilly puts submissions on because it looks believable. Yeah. He really puts like his effort because he trains BJJ, so when he puts those locks on them submissions, he rolls into those things. It just looks like damn, he's about to mess you up.
Right, please don't start.
There's some type of weird homosexual stuff going on in the comment. What y'all laughing at? What's going on?
So it was dope.
Ready for what's going on. He's not ready for what's going on. He don't have what I got. Brian, you ain't missing one. Stop.
But you know what?
You copying each other's styles. I got y'all now. Okay, I see.
Y'all killing me. Y'all really killing me. Brian back with a vengeance.
Hey, hold on real quick, JoJo. So Coin gave Jason. You saw when Jason just had the hot ass mask on, right, with the bandana. The weird ass mask.
Looking like MF Doom. I don't know.
Yeah. What's his name? Call him Coin call him Scrub Zero. So when you wear that thing, you
Hey, it ain't that funny, bro. It ain't that funny. It ain't that doggone funny. I'm the
I forgot what I called him. I called him
5-element ninja. Okay, 5-element ninja. Get it together.
Oh, now he looked like make Black America great again. That's what he looked like with that hot ass. Make Daz great again with that hot ass bandana on.
But yeah.
Brian looked like the American Sniper or something with that shit he got on with the Houston Astros. But let's bring Ted back in because I'm not sure how much we have, how much longer we have Ted for.
Definitely.
Ted, since you've been watching wrestling, what's one of the biggest ailments do you think that really hindered wrestling from being great the way it used to be?
Current versus ladder?
Sure.
Creative. I'm just gonna throw out creative.
Sure.
This stuff is so thrown together nowadays, and totally what you guys were mentioning as I came onto the show. The storylines are recycled, so it's sloppy. It's not well thought out, and then sometimes nowadays you notice some of these storylines when they don't pop. Next week it's a totally different story, and you're like, well, wait a minute, we never had like some type of conclusion. Yeah. So athletics, they've gotten so much better, just like as in with any of the professional sports organizations.
Sure.
Right.
Stronger, better athletes. Maybe they're cleaner because there was a steroid problem back in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. Yeah. But I just have to focus on creative and looking at if this question is totally focused on WWE, or does it go across multiple brands?
You might as well go. We might as well just open it up to all the brands while we're at it.
Yeah. I just feel sometimes that WWE spread themselves too wide. With the all the different shows and all the different brands, and basically what you said, NXT has done well. SmackDown has done well. That's about it. I mean, remember when there was a women's push and Evolution was a big thing with the Evolution card and everything else like that? Then it just stopped. It just stopped because at one point the women were actually carrying these cards that were 2 and 3 hours. So I just think you got to get back to what worked. And I don't know if, because at one point you hate to say, go get Eric Bischoff or go get this one or go get that one. Because we've seen all their work. We've seen all their work, their best work. There's nothing more coming out of that. Right. So I'm really not sure what to do. I would like for it to go back to what it was in late 70s, early 80s, which was, and we're seeing it now with the various territories. But I would like for, it's the elephant in the room for WWE to participate in that, because we should see champion versus champion. The stuff that we're seeing now with things that are happening with AEW and how they're interlocking with Impact. And, I really wish like Ring of Honor would step their game up a little bit, but like we need to see stuff like how they integrate with New Japan. This is what the wrestling fan is asking for. They're starving for. And if WWE is the bully on the block, because if you look at it, they're getting money from NBC Universal 2 times over, and their deal with Fox, so they're taking the lion's share.
And United Kingdom with the money they get from the United Emirates, Saudi Arabia gives them
yes. The Saudis, I mean, they're grabbing billions of dollars every year. I would just love to see it go back to territories. I mean, and like I said, we're seeing that now with NWA, and we're seeing that with the craziness in GCW. But really, like I said, a true champion for champion, where this one would show up on that show. I think you had these creative departments working together would put together a stronger product.
Sure.
I know that was a lengthy answer.
No, that's perfect. I'll add to what you said, and I want to ask you something about women, but I'm going to add to what you said. I'm going to take the tail end of the territory thing, because I kind of really want to know what you think about it, because I got a different opinion on the women. But I'm okay with the territory thing, because ironically, outside of the Attitude Era, my favorite time in wrestling was Mid-South in 1980.
Yes.
80 to about 85. That was my favorite wrestling product to watch. And everybody already knows me. Yeah. I remember UWF. Yeah.
You remember UWF?
Yes.
UWF.
Yeah, it was great. A lot of great wrestlers came out of the singles and tag team wrestlers came out of the UWF. So I like more of that type. I'm okay with territories as long as they got storylines. Like I can't watch 3 hours of like, oh, this dude, athletic dude with knee pads black going against knee pads red. I can't watch that for 3 hours. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know why they, even if, oh, he spilled the coffee on me at the coffee machine. That's a reason to fight somebody. You know what I mean? Now they just be like, oh, yeah, this dude was super athletic 15 years ago. Now you're going against dude from 14 years. That's not a good enough reason to fight it. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be intrinsic storylines of why they fight. And then titles need to mean something too. I agree with you. Because my goal was, I always wanted to be the cruiserweight Ric Flair. Like, I always want to be the Ric Flair while I'm the cruiserweight champion. I go to Mexico and fight dudes. Japan going to have to be a little extra because y'all got the damn pandemic. You're going to pay me to go to Japan. But Mexico, Canada, you know, I'm going to South America to defend. But I want to work with some people with some name identity. Like, for every Rey Mysterio, you got Cruiserweight B doing flips. Like, it's not enough people for me to make money with. If I'm a wrestle this high-paced style, I want to make money. Like, because Cruiserweight style is risky. Like, you can come off the rope and break the second rope and break your ankle, let alone doing something complex 380-degree flip and I land wrong. Like, I want to be paid commensurate to what I'm doing. So it's just a lot of the cruiserweights, I think they get caught up in, oh, I could do a Phoenix splash off from the, you know, the top of the roof. Okay, and you're going to do that in front of 50 people and you made no money, so what's the point of doing it? You know, like, you got to know when to do that and when not to do it. You have to learn to be a storyteller first before you do a wrestling move. Because before anybody could care about that move, they got to care about you first. Like, one of the greatest cruiserweight storylines that we all probably remember. Jason definitely remember. Remember when Tajiri blinded Nydia and Nydia was dating Jamie Noble?
Yeah.
That was one of the best cruiserweight storylines I've ever seen in my life. Because it wasn't just cruiserweights, oh, I can flip and he can too. The story was, he blinded my girlfriend, I'm going to kill him.
Yeah.
So you still got to have these reasonings. But even the territories had a good storyline. I know you remember this, Ted. Remember when not the Rock and Roll Spur, what they call? Bad Street USA. What were they called?
Michael Hayes and Company. Yeah.
Remember the Freebirds blinded JYD?
Freebirds with Terry Gordy, Bam Bam.
Mm-hmm. Remember they blinded the Junkyard Dog?
Yes.
That was a territory story. They literally blinded him, and the storyline was now he can't see the birth of his daughter. Do you know how mad black people was when that happened? That turned JYD into Hulk Hogan of the Louisiana.
Yes.
He was literally like Hulk Hogan. Like, when they had come out in Louisiana, New Orleans Municipal Auditorium, they will say, "Who that? Who that gonna beat that?" It was like a football game when the Junkyard Dog came out.
Yeah, I remember.
Who gonna beat the dog? They said that when he came out. You don't see that no more now. Like, Kenny Omega was probably, if we're gonna put something in terms of territory, Kenny Omega is probably the greatest modern territory wrestler. Because what an interesting story. And I hate the way he's booked the AEW now, because they book him like he's everybody else. What a story. He's from Winnipeg in Canada. He moved to Japan, learned the language.
Yes.
They had top star matches for like 3 or 4 years straight. He come to AEW and they didn't put the title on him for 16 months.
Yep.
How insane is that, Joe? Like, come on.
Well, we didn't understand it, but
I'm sorry, what are you gonna say, Ted?
I just want to say, because I was going to jump into Kenny Omega before you mentioned him. I was going to say that's the closest thing that we have. But the real trip up here is, how did WWE, knowing this guy was a free agent, not give him a blank check?
Well, they wanted to, but he was, the way they treated him back when he originally went there, he was turned off. Because he was there in Deep South Wrestling, their territory, back in 2005, and they treated him bad, and he never forgot that. They did want him to go. Triple H was beating his door down to get him back, and he said, I'll never go back.
Okay.
Yeah. Him and a couple others, the Lucha Brothers didn't want to go there. The Young Bucks didn't want to go there.
They chased the Young Bucks.
Didn't want to go there. They just was like, nah, we good. We see how y'all do business or whatever. Y'all don't even know how to treat Nakamura right. We'll make sure you're going to do something with it. You know what I mean? That's what they were thinking about.
Disgusting what they've done with Nakamura.
Very.
You know, it's. I do have one question. Do you guys watch AAA wrestling?
Yeah, Luchadors. Yeah.
If they have a top car, if they have two competitors fighting that I want to see, I'll watch it. Other than that, I haven't watched Triple H since like 1998 or something.
Okay.
Yeah. What's up? You know what? I hope Triple H does well. I have my issues with Conan for personal reasons, but Conan is a really good booker for the most part. He books things properly. He books things with heat and how to get the most hate out of his storylines. He's really good at that. So I'm really hoping that they can start creating some stars. They tried to do it a little bit with this is another embarrassing release that they just had. Andrade was a star. I don't understand why they released him.
Yes.
That was your next Mexican star. Like what? And they don't. Not only did they release him, they split Zelina Vega, which was his biggest asset. Like, what are y'all thinking about?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean they had a huge backing. I mean everywhere where Zelina and Andrade were, like they had. I mean I see that stuff on Snapchat and Twitter and like all those short clips. Like everybody's doing the tranquilo pose, and
yeah,
it's ridiculous that it did not. I mean, again, it's the creative. It's like you could build off what they built up in NXT and still make it better, but they chose to be lazy about it.
You know the perfect booking that would have worked from Andrade when they called him up from NXT, because I think they rushed him like a year too early from NXT. But whatever, they called him up. They needed new names. He should have been the United States champion for like a year straight. Put the U.S. title on him. Let him beat everybody. Let Zelina Vega get him victories. Put his foot on the rope. Like, Ted, as me being a heel, because I'm a heel, training as a wrestler, I'm a heel.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest things that upset me from modern wrestling, they took the rules from the heel. How do you cheat if there's no rules to break?
True.
Only person that put their feet on the ropes now is The Miz. He's literally the only heel that does it.
Yeah.
Like, how you completely take the referee out of the match when you don't let the heel cheat. I don't understand why they even stopped doing that in the first place. Like at AEW, they said they don't need tag team ropes. Do you realize that it invalidates the referee when you don't have tag ropes?
True.
Like, I don't understand what these wrestlers now think about anymore. Like, it is. But the next thing I want to ask you, because this is the most controversial thing, and it really bothers me. I think female wrestlers are way too overexposed. I think it's way too many. Like, they get pushed too much, and it's too many of them. But what do you think, Ted?
So give me a better description of when you say they're pushed too much.
Take Sasha Banks, for example. You know Sasha Banks?
Yes.
When they make her title reign more significant than Roman Reigns, that's a problem. You see what I'm saying? Roman Reigns.
I know. Think of how long Becky Lynch was. It seemed like she was carrying Raw.
She was
carrying Raw. It was still a point where I'm like, yo, she was totally over. That after she had gotten busted open, she was totally over at that point.
Yeah, thanks to Nia Jax. Yeah.
You know what I think went wrong with her? They didn't pair her against enough main event women that was on her level. She should have been fighting Nia Jax. She did fight Ronda Rousey, which was a big draw. She fought Charlotte. But other than that, she didn't work with none of the top. They had her fight Sasha Banks and Bayley, who I think are nowhere near on her level for multiple reasons. Sasha is way too undersized. Yes, Sasha does have charisma. Sasha has a decent amount of charisma. However, Brian, the first thing you have to be a wrestler is to be safe. Sasha Banks is dangerous. How you gonna be a champion when you can't wrestle people? She's very. You said she's not.
No.
He said she is.
She is.
Oh, okay.
Bayley is not dangerous. Bayley is safe.
Bayley is growing on me a lot more than Sasha Banks because Bayley actually looked like she's trying to improve. Sasha thinks just because Snoop Dogg is my cousin and I know WWE need him for Hollywood connections, I can do whatever I want. Ted, believe it or not, Sasha Banks been wrestling since 2009. If you watch her matches, does it look like she's been wrestling long?
No.
She's been wrestling for me and Jason talk about this all the time, but we gotta soft shoe it because people don't want to hear it because you're talking about a woman. But go ahead, Jason, please, Jason, you got to do your legendary Sasha Banks finishing move for Ted. Please do it for Ted.
Hey, this is me reenacting the people that's in her finisher. You said I got a phone call. All right, tell them got 5 minutes. I'll be in the back. Should I tell them right now? Give me an orange soda, please. I'm thirsty. They should have to eat steak. Their hands is free. They eat steak while they in her submission. That's how free their hands are. They're like, okay, this steak is delicious. How long is this match been going on? 20 minutes? Did Jason teach him to live
She's so loose with her finishing move. Like, and it's not just Sasha Banks.
Hey, Brian, they just cut the butter and put it on the steak and everything.
Yeah, that's where they have
I think they're way too overexposed. Ted.
Hey,
I think
they be doing. You know how people eat sunflower seeds? They be doing like this.
Oh my god!
So
another thing with
I'm telling you
sorry,
that move. She should not be a submission. She should not have a submission for a finisher. She is not a technical wrestler. She is sloppy. She should not have a submission for a finisher. That's all I'm saying. Her submission is too loose. No.
I agree. Ted, another thing I want to add.
Ted, like when your son told you let's go, he would have said that when he seen her finish she put on. You're like, Dad, let's go get the money back. I'm not about to sit through this. Oh no. This is BS right here. He be like, Dad, can I cuss?
Oh no.
Please, this is a bull right here. I'll say a bad word. Please let me say a bad word. I want to come at these people.
Sasha, she ain't gonna cut it. She needs to go back to NXT for a while. Bailey's getting a little better, but of all the 4 horsewomen, I do think Becky Lynch is the best one. Charlotte is a close second, but Becky is she's a gorgeous too, so she's a full package. But another thing that I think that's missing. Hold on, real quick, Brian. Another thing that I think that's missing, Ted, from women's wrestling is every woman that's in wrestling should not be purely a wrestler. Some of them should be managers. Some of them should be in tag team. You cannot have every single woman be a singles wrestler. Some of them, like Lana, is designed to be a manager. Maurice is designed to be a manager. Zelina is designed to be a manager. And I'm sure I can name several others. They be putting these women in the ring that's basically models that was in wrestling school for 5 minutes. And they wonder why they fall on their head when they're in the ring half the time. You know what I mean? But go ahead, what you was going to say, Brian.
No, Charlotte's growing on me, though. I mean, because, like, when it comes to promos, Charlotte is on fire with promos.
She can cut a promo.
When you Ric Flair's daughter, if you anything other than that, you know what I mean? I'm gonna question your intelligence, but
yeah, I know. But, but like her delivery and everything, she's really like comfortable in her own skin because I know like she had a lot of insecurities, but whenever she's a heel, man, look out, dude, because I mean she's just laying it down and
she's on fire right now.
Yeah. So I mean
she's the best part of Raw.
So yeah, I mean, and then I was happy that when Becky Lynch finally went heel and she got cheered for it. Same thing with Bailey, went heel and got cheered for it.
Right.
But I mean, in regards to Sasha, I mean, she does put in the work, but again, at the same time, she's not paired up with anybody that could really compliment her.
The big issue with Charlotte is a lot of people are not her size to work with her. They be having to work against girls that's 5'2". Like that don't look right. Go ahead, Jason.
I got a question. Now, the people that should be managers and stuff like that or referees, don't they have to train like the wrestlers too, or is that?
Yes. Yeah, they got to train to take bumps too. Yeah. Because if they're in a situation where they got to fall, they got to know what they're doing. What if you got to come off the rope, come off on you, and twist your ankle? The referees train how to. A lot of them know how to do basic. They know how to bump. They know how to fall and stuff like that. Yeah. Look at Ricardo. Right? Remember, ADR's manager. He was a great wrestler. He was training Lucha Ray. He was an excellent wrestler. Yeah. Bumblebee. He was a great wrestler. But Ted, do you what do you think about more women need to be managers and valets? Because that's something that I missed from wrestling back in the 80s. I used to love Sunshine and Precious from WCC. Yes. Sunshine, oh my God, what a gorgeous woman. Yeah, I love Sunshine. Dark Journey, too. I used to love Dark Journey, too.
Dark Journey, Miss Elizabeth, you name it. It needs to be across the board. So I'm in full agreement with that. But I will say this much, that WWE definitely missed. They've missed a lot of things, but I think that Evolution moment, there should have been an Evolution card each year. I'm not going to go as far as to say its own show or its own brand, but at least a card each year. You can highlight all the women. They can, I think it was a good moment. It was a bright moment. I don't know. What's your take on that?
I'm okay with that. Like I said, I don't know if a lot of people want the women to have their whole show, I think that's a couple years down the line because they need a lot more. They have bodies, like they got the bodies to make up a roster. But if you got 4 people that superstars, is that really you got to have multiple belts? You got to have a women's intercontinental, a women's tag, a women. Like if you got 4 superstars, how many feuds you gonna get out of 1 year with that? So I agree that to get them a moment every year or some, preferably during the fall time because that's Women Awareness Month. That'd be smart PR for WWE to do that. So around that time, September, October was perfect. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
But I think I need a little more time for the 4 women's roster. That's going or their own show. That need a little more time. I ain't quite ready for that yet. They barely do good with the women that they got now. So, but a pay-per-view, a big card where they can bring people back from the past and accentuate on the deep storyline. I'm cool with that. I'm all for that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because that Cruiserweight Classic is another thing a lot of people don't talk about. They did big numbers on the WWE Network. The fact that they did that once, all of them need to be dropped into active volcanoes. I don't understand why they did that one time.
I will let you guys know. I did sign up for Peacock. I signed up. It's $4.99 a month. I think it's like a 6-month contract because when WrestleMania was getting ready to come online, I said, man, do I want to mess around with these streams? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? And I said, okay, $4.99. I was able to see both nights of WrestleMania.
Yep, that's a good deal, right?
It's a real good deal.
Yeah. I have Peacock, but it's integrated into my cable service. So I don't have to pay an additional fee. I'd have to download anything like now. The app itself is more optimal than the one that's integrated into the cable. Like it looks too dark. Like when you look at it, it look like what the hell did they film this with? Some binoculars? Like what did they like? It looks too dark. Like they need to optimize it, but it works for what I watch it for. Because I'm probably down to watching maybe 3-4 pay-per-views a year now. Because I can't watch 12 pay-per-views outside of when you don't have enough star power. Like how many Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre rematches can I watch before I get sick of? You know what I mean? Like it's just me and JoJo talk about, and you don't correct me if I'm wrong, Ted. You don't follow the NXT product closely, right?
Not closely.
Okay, so it's 2 wrestlers there right now that if you saw them, even your son would be like, Dad, them wrestlers. This is why I wanted you to leave that show early that day. If we see these wrestlers that I'm about to talk about, and one of them name is Johnny Gargano, and another one name is Adam Cole. Just to tell you a quick story about Adam Cole, Ted. He's one of the longest reigning NXT champions in history. I think his title reign was near 2 years, the one he just lost. He walked through the airport with his title through TSA, and they asked him why he had a wrestling belt. They was like, why you got a belt? They thought he was a fan. And he was like, I'm the NXT World Star. They started laughing because they was like, you a wrestler? They like when you have people saying you're a wrestler, something is wrong. Like they never asked Hulk Hogan, was he a wrestler? They never asked Ric Flair wasn't half the size Hulk Hogan was, and you still recognize Ric Flair when you walk through the airport. Right. Like the fact that these wrestlers cannot be identified if they had on regular clothes standing next to regular people.
That's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a problem.
Yeah,
they just the marketing piece, the marketing and communication side of WWE hasn't done their job.
Yeah,
I mean, could Shawn Michaels in his heyday walk anywhere and not be known?
Hell no.
Nope. Everybody knows Shawn Michaels. You know
right.
what I mean? They would have recognized his hair. They would have recognized his clothes. Something. They would have knew something about
voice.
It. Take Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio's 5'5", but you know what Rey Mysterio looks like because he got his mask on. Probably.
Right.
He don't go anywhere in public without his mask on. So he walk around. You was oh crap, that's Rey Mysterio. Yes, he's 5'6", but you know what he looks like. All these wrestlers now think that they could put on some tights with some. And Johnny Gargano, Jason, you're a superhero fan, so you can understand this. Johnny Gargano drives me insane. This man wear Iron Man clothes and don't have no physique. How you got on Iron Man clothes and no physique? Like what is wrong with you, man?
What you trying to say? He's skinny, Minnie?
Yeah, Jason. He literally has the physique of a 6th grade. JoJo, am I lying?
No, you're not.
Well, it's kind of funny. Well, I mean, I saw like a group photo of him. It's pretty cool. You had Gargano paying tribute to Shawn Michaels. You had Austin Aries paying tribute to Diesel. Indy paying tribute to Razor Ramon. I couldn't figure out who Candice was portraying.
Of all the people you just named, the only person Indy Hartwell's that's Bae. I love Indy Hartwell. She's so gorgeous. Australian girl. She's gorgeous. Austin Aries is a very interesting name that you brought up because he's a cruiserweight that carries himself like a star. And if for anybody that don't know, and you know who he was, Ted, because he's still around with NWA now. Austin Idol, you know Austin Idol, Ted?
Austin Idol, yes.
Austin Aries got his name from Austin Idol, so you tell he's part to the territories. So people say, "Oh, he's difficult to do business with," and all that. Jim Cornette hates him for whatever reason. He calls him a turnip man or something like. He calls him a because he's a vegan. So Jim Cornette calls him a malcontent because he doesn't take crap from people that are too old school that don't understand that wrestling's evolved a little bit. He can't stand people that's like. And then if Austin Aries actually wrestles logical for a cruiserweight, if you watch his matches, he wrestles logically for. So I don't understand why so many people. I love Austin Aries. I'm still cool until I talk to him sometimes. He's a smart cruiserweight. And I get a lot of my style when I watch from Austin Aries because he carries himself like a star. When he got the belt, he wears suits. He's down. He got like fur coats. He reminds me of like Ric Flair, like a cruiserweight. He got the sunglasses. He carries himself like he's a big deal. Yeah, and that's why I respect Austin Aries. He understand that you're supposed to look like a star. Most of these cruiserweights, I can do 800 flips, so I don't. That's what makes me good. Okay,
there's one thing that always interests me about Austin Aries, though, is the fact that he really wrestles as a southpaw. He actually puts that into his wrestling. Like he throws these left-handed moves. He throws things left-handed. His drop kicks come from the left-hand side. It's a very like interesting thing because you don't see that with a lot of wrestlers.
You know the irony of that, JoJo?
What's up?
When you train in the wrestling ring in the States, you work from the left side, but most wrestlers are right-handed. So it's awkward for right-handed wrestlers to adjust to that. Like when I run the ropes, how you probably run wrestling ropes, you drape your arm over the left rope.
Yeah.
So you run and you drape your arm. In Mexico, they work the opposite. They work the right side. So that's why if I was to wrestle any Mexican wrestler, I would have to get in the ring with them first. Because if you hitting the ropes, I got to know where you coming from. Like, you're not about to sit up, like, land on my neck. Like, I want to know what you know what I mean? So I would, like, if I'm working with, like, somebody real quick, like Kalisto or something, I would get in the ring with him first. Like, bro, you're not about to do no corkscrew spin and land on me and I break my neck. No, I want to get in the ring with you first. Like, a lot of these wrestlers now, they don't want to get in the ring talking about, you'll see when I get in the ring. I'm not about to wrestle you. No, I'm not. Not with these wrestlers burning their crotch. Ted, did you see the footage that came out? The wrestlers burning each other crotches? It was like 30 people at the show. Yes, Ted, they were burning it.
You guys show.
I'm gonna put it up. I'm gonna take my box down so y'all. So I can take
it. They were burning. Did you see what Mike asked you about Total Divas?
Oh, okay, let me go back. Read it to me, Jason, real quick while I'm loading this up here.
Let me see. He said, TJ, did you ever go back and watch Total Divas after we talked?
I saw a lot of the first 2 or 3 seasons of Total Diva, like when they had what's that name? The one they used to be with Fandango. What was
he said you don't love him anymore. He ain't talking to you no more.
I've seen quite a few episodes of Total Diva, and I will say this, Mike, before I put this video up. Total Diva ratings has been higher than Raw since like 2015. Wow. They have higher ratings than Raw. Total Diva has higher. That shows you they got storylines on there, but they don't got storylines on TV,
which is insane.
The following wrestlers became stars on Total Diva. Lana, what's the old girl that used to dance for Fandango, JoJo?
Summer was it?
Summer Rae. Summer Rae was a star.